she's here for a better life. She's a decent person, creates no problems, helps the economy, works. This is a real face of immigration. She's also the face of Donald Trump's hypocrisy. What he demonized immigrants during the shutdown, and actually since he's been president, but the businessman has exploited them, used them happily, made money off of them,
talking about
and in fact facilitated their getting illegal documents in order to be able to work.
He's a hypocrite.
So it just highlights his hypocrisy.
Which is the real one in your mind?
He's a piece of crap.
The bigot who says they're killers and they're rapists and all this stuff, or the businessman who wants them to, iron his own towels?
I think the businessman is the real Donald Trump. The one who's been a failed businessman, who doesn't pay his bills, who keeps people out there on the limb, who was has family discriminating against minorities in their apartment buildings and things of that ilk. I think that's the real Donald Trump. I think that as the president, the real Donald Trump is a big...
Got it.
Mm-hmm. What do you have concerns or fears about exposing Ms. Morales to law enforcement of any kind, given the president's rhetoric, given the fact that ICE has been upping their arrests, and the fact she'll be in a very high-profile position?
Well, her face is already known. She's been very courageous, very brave to even be a voice for those who otherwise wouldn't have a voice. We did make some inquiries. She has filed for asylum. She is a witness to possible illegal actions and employee violations of an employer. If ICE were to try to do something like that, it would be nothing more than retaliation, and I think that there would just be an uproar. I just don't see that happening in this case. But of course we had concerns and we did make some inquiries. But since she is an asylum applicant, and since she's also a potential witness to a very important employment case, and violations of other laws, I think she's pretty much going to be safe.
I should note the Trump Organization said earlier this week it'll now begin implementing E-Verify, which is the system to verify the documentation of employees.
Oops, got caught.
Yes, well, it certainly looks that way. Final question, Kirsten Nielsen. My understanding is you're on the Homeland Security Committee, you're not the chair, but your committee is attempting to bring her before your committee to talk about some of the things. It appears she gave misleading, deceptive, or outright false testimony about child separation, and she is avoiding your committee, is that right?
Yeah, but my bet is on Benny Thompson, who's the chairman of our committee, and getting her to come before the committee. She's never been a good witness. A few times she's been before the committee. I mean, this is not an administration with whom you can take their word. So, splitting hairs and falsifying.
Any Republican or Trump supporter's word. That's what it comes down to.
The longer he doesn't do that, the more questions will be raised.
I mean, the thing that's extraordinary about that meeting and the whole question of whether or not he informed his father, which would be a very big deal if he had, is that in that meeting, and in fact, in the email setting up the meeting,
this is my life.
Donald Trump Jr. is informed that the Russian government is behind his father's campaign for president, which is a huge deal for the campaign. The idea that Donald Trump Jr. would hear that information and not convey it, and that Manafort would hear it and Jared Kushner would hear it, and nobody would convey it to Donald Trump, the candidate, just seems hard to imagine given the size of the campaign, kind of the way it was organized and how few people were actually involved.
We learned a lot in our investigation about the closeness of Donald Trump and his son, and what we concluded was they were very close. They talked very often. Donald Trump Jr. would often talk to his father about decisions in the campaign, and Donald Trump is a very gracious host. He is someone who would want to know if someone flew across the world to be in his building and talk about the campaign. And so the idea that he had no idea about it while he was independently going out as a candidate and saying new information is coming about Hillary Clinton, boy, do we love WikiLeaks. Russia, if you're listening, please, deliver more emails. It would defy, everything we know about these two, that they didn't talk. Perhaps that's the case, but the best two people who could clear that up would be Donald Trump and his son, and they haven't been cooperative in our investigation.
Also, I mean, why would the president's allies might say, look, the president didn't know about the Trump Tower meeting, therefore he didn't know anything about anything Russia related. That's not what this reporting is, but you understand why the president's supporters would be quick to jump on it.
Sure. Again, because there are so many, I would say, shovels that have been taken out and evidence
This was
that is
good. I would even watch a portion of it. Oh, look. That was the beginning of it. No. Was it?
Superhero landing. She gonna do a superhero landing.
So, did you? I hope you enjoyed this time together. We're going to end this because nobody wants to talk to me. I feel so lonely. Take care.